I don't know about you guys, but I am sick and tired of being used and abused and manipulated and propagandized by our United States government and our leading officials who literally treat us like little freaking babies. Oh, you can only handle this much, so we're not going to give you the whole piece of what's going on. You know, you're too lame to know anything. And so what happens as a result of that, we don't get the full story. Take, for example, what happened in 2008 with the housing crisis. You know, they told us everything was fine, and then lo and behold, hundreds of thousands of us lost our jobs, if not millions. I don't recall the full number. Tens of thousands of us lost our homes in the housing crisis, me being one of those, by the way. Not to mention the fact that, hey, let's fast forward a little bit. How about, Palestine, Ohio, where they told residents it's okay to go back to the house where maybe they did or didn't fully know. Nobody knows. But residents went back there thinking everything's okay, and then they end up with rashes on their bodies, respiratory issues, squeaky voices, and all kinds of weird stuff. And right now, we even have Janet Yellen and Joe Biden coming on a loudspeaker saying, don't pay attention to the closure of these banks. It's fine. Everything is fine. Well, case in point today, I feel like I'm being manipulated yet again by our leading officials because 4 months ago, something really bad happened in the United States of America, and our leading officials in the United States government decided not to peep one word about it. Never mind the fact that it was a nuclear leak of over 400,000 gallons of radioactive water. Just a quick break before I get into it. Well, the FBI is now recommending ad blockers while browsing the internet. In a public service announcement, law enforcement agencies stated that ad blocker extensions can help protect users against fraudulent online advertisements that can appear in search results. Now, this comes after a new report was released that revealed that identity theft was reported every 22 seconds. That being said, we have never been at more risk for things like identity theft, data breaches, account hacks, and so much more. Our risk today is real. That's why I personally use a VPN to keep cybercrimes at bay. And the only VPN I know and trust is Virtual Shield at hidewithlisa.com. And I personally sponsored with them because they are the only one that I trust. Thanks to them, I'm able to browse the internet anonymously, which allows me to protect myself, protect my data, and my finances from these cyber criminals. On top of it all, Virtual Shield has a no-log policy, along with unlimited bandwidth and built-in malware and ad blocking. Virtual Shield is an industry-leading VPN for anyone who cares about their privacy. Hide your tracks with military-grade equipment by going to hidewithlisa.com. That's hidewithlisa.com. And the great news is their price is at an amazing 73% off, and that's a lifetime rate of $3.49 per month. Now is absolutely the time to keep you and your family safe. On top of it, not only do you get that, you get a 30-day free trial and a 30-day money-back guarantee. So check it out by going to hidewithlisa.com and support what I do here. If you want more information, click that little more button if you're on the mobile app so you can get the link, or if you're here on YouTube, click that link in the description box below. All right, back to the broadcast. So just what is this disaster that they're kind of really pushing under the rug? Well, nothing more than a nuclear plant who just admitted that they, leaked 400,000 gallons of radioactive water. Nothing to see here. Everything's okay, folks. Nothing is going on. Just look the other way. It was 4 months ago. We'll take a look at where I found it. And this is on the health.state.minnesota direct website here. And this is what they put up on their topic menu there. Xcel Energy Monticello Power Plant tritium leak. The Minnesota Pollution Control Agency, in coordination with the Minnesota Department of Health and the Minnesota Department of Natural Resources, is monitoring Xcel Energy's efforts to clean up a release of water contaminated with tritium detected at the company's Monticello nuclear generating plant. Xcel Energy reported the leak to Minnesota duty officer and the Nuclear Regulatory Commission in November of 2022 after finding unusual results during routine monitoring. Now, the leak has been stopped and has not reached the Mississippi River, or contaminated drinking water resources. That is the story thus far. It goes on. The company reported about 400,000 gallons of water contaminating tritium leaked from a water pipe running between the two buildings at its Monticello facility. The leak was stopped, and the company is monitoring the groundwater plume through 24 wells. An estimated 20% of the tritium has been recovered through extraction wells, and contaminated water continues to be pumped from the groundwater. The pumped water is currently being stored, treated, and reused on site. It goes on to state that the next steps include Minnesota state agencies are working with Xcel on a permanent solution to manage the recovered tritium contaminating water. Some options being considered include adding above ground storage tanks or installations of a retention pond to store recovered water for treatment to reuse or finally dispose. These strategies would require permits from the MPCA. And in conclusion, they're saying there is no health risk due to this situation. However, they go on to admit that a conservative assumption in radiation protection is that any radiation exposure could result in an increased cancer occurrence in the population. Yeah, so, there could be cancer, ... Now, I went on to look up a little bit more on tritium to kind of get an overall what potential harms it could cause, because I don't like to always take, their word for it. Well, I found this. What are the possible health risks from tritium radiation? And this is on ncr.gov. The NCR agrees with the national and international radiation protection regulatory agencies that any exposure to radiation could pose some health risk. The risk increases with exposure to in a linear, no threshold manner. Lower levels of radiation therefore have lower risk, and the health risk include increased occurrences of cancer. So they both admit certain levels can do that. Public health research, however, has not established health risk at low doses and low dose rates below about 10,000 mrem. So, excuse me if I'm a little leery on trusting them on these kind of issues. 2008, current banking crisis, Palestine, Ohio. The list could go on and on and on. But hey, maybe it is exactly as they say it is. If that's the case, why on earth did they wait 4 months to inform the public if there was really no issue? Good question. One that I'm, on pins and needles for them to answer for me. I mean, hey, if it's as good as you say it is and it's just contained within the facility, great. I don't know. If I had some water in that area, I'd probably test it just to make sure myself, because I'm a very untrusting person when it comes to people who have lied to us or not been completely honest over the years. And that's both Democrats and Republicans, by the way. I don't know. I've got some skepticism. Remember the whole thing with Erin Brockovich? Then there's that, right? I feel like a guinea pig at times. I really, really do. I do feel like that. But anyhow, I think it's your right to know, especially if you're in and around that area. And not saying there is some kind of hazardous situation there. I don't know. I haven't gone and tested the waters, nor have I found any information counter to what they're saying. So it sits at what it's saying right now, but lo and behold, I guess only time will tell unless more tests are done. Anyhow, wanted to bring you the latest on all that. Please make sure you're still subscribed to my channel here on YouTube. They've been removing people, so make sure that all button is checked so you get those notifications. Otherwise, you won't be notified. Anyhow, I love all of you. I'm Lisa Haven, signing out.